What is happening, guys? We are back here at CES Motorsport in Monroe County, Charlotte, North Carolina. We've got the Supra squad out here. We've got Mr. Denny Prime on the dyno. This is going to be one of the last pulls that we're doing of the car. We've actually done a bunch of pulls and a bunch of different revisions under MHD tuning with his Supra. He's now running the Pure800 turbo. He's got the full Valvetronic exhaust system with custom tips. I'm going to show you guys. It looks so good. And in the future, it sounds like he's going to be doing a meth setup. The car is running a 93 pump gas tune. He daily drives this car, so we wanted something safe, reliable, but good power. We're also going to go for the first drive with Denny in his car. He hasn't driven the car. He hasn't seen the car in a little while because we've been testing it, dyno testing, and making sure that the tune was just right for the street. So let's hop in there. We're gonna do a little dyno pull for you guys, show you what we're making. And we have a couple of other graphs to show you the differences from, you know, stock to intake to exhaust to downpipe to tune to now Pure800. So you can really see the evolution of power going on in the power graphs. Let's head in. All right, so here's Denny's car. Look at these tips, man. Burnt blue Valvetronic tips. Nice and fresh, brand new. As you guys know, I have the gold. He has the silver. Freaking beautiful on this car. You know, he's got the carbon, white, and blue theme going on. Really, really awesome. We do have some footage from when we did the install of the Pure800 on this car. There is the Pure800 down there. And of course, we've got the BMS intake that he's running. He's running the same charge pipe as me, FTP. And then he has the CES Motorsport catless downpipe. So a very solid setup, especially for a daily driving, reliable, conservative car. This is similar to the setup I'm going to be running, except obviously I have meth on my car, and it sounds like he is also going to be doing a meth setup. So we're going to get into a little dyno pull for you guys here. Should be interesting, show you kind of where we're at with power, and then it sounds like we're going to go for a ride. So we just finished up the dyno run with John and Denny over here, and here are the numbers. So before we jump into it, we want to talk a little bit about the numbers that we see here. One is going to be a stock baseline run. One is going to be a stock turbo 93 octane with just the catless downpipe run. And then one is going to be the current setup, which is full bolt-ons, Pure800 on 93 octane.
Right.
John, what would you like to comment on with all of these numbers and basically the way that you see the graphs? Like, what are the things that we should point out for everyone?
I guess basically the comparison data is what's really important here, and obviously to show off what a different size turbo does in comparison. So for Supra owners that have stock turbo and bone stock, this is basically the numbers and the lines that you see. This was another customer car. He made 337 at the wheels and roughly 408 torque. and that was just baseline numbers on 93 octane. Denny's car is the green line when it was completely stock with just our downpipe, and obviously MHD stage 2 93 octane tune. So performance flash plus catless downpipe. The green numbers are what you're seeing, 439 wheel and about 488 torque. So pretty significant gain from completely stock numbers to just a downpipe and a tune on 93. And then Denny decided he wanted to go with the Pure800 turbo upgrade, so that was installed along with upgraded exhaust, an intake, and charge pipe. So those are the basic bolt-on upgrades that are on the car now, plus the Pure800. And again, this is custom MHD tuned on 93 octane. So it's really good data because we're using all the same fuel and just upgrading the turbo basically with some bolt-on modifications for a little bit additional flow. But what it really shows off is just how much more power a larger turbo makes, especially in the top end, where you're limited to about this amount of power in the 439, 440 range to the wheels with the stock turbo. With the upgraded Pure800 turbo, we're at 516 wheel. And while the peak numbers, again, like we discussed, may not be as major of a jump, which they still are, the beauty is, look at 6,500 RPM. I mean, you're at 428 wheel horsepower versus 511. And that is a pretty significant jump in power. And you can feel all this throughout the whole entire RPM range. And that turbo literally picks up power and is overwhelming even the stock one by, 3,100, 3,200 RPM. So, and it doesn't have quite the jump that the stock turbo does here. So spool is a little bit slower, but drivability, if anybody has driven one of these before, knows how jumpy the Supra can be because the torque is literally instant when you drop the hammer. This helps smooth that out just a little bit, but still not much of a difference in spool. And you could see the dyno runs for Mike's was actually even in 90-degree temps.
Hotter,
So the spool differential is going to be even greater.
Yeah, I feel like it's much more smooth with the 800. I feel like the 800 fits these cars much better. So we have a couple of Supras here at the shop. The orange one out there is basically everything that he has, but also meth, right?
Right.
And so we wanted to show you guys kind of what happens when you put meth on top of this exact application that we have here. It's really impressive. So John, why don't you bring up the meth chart for us? All right, so here we have the exact same setup that we have here on Denny's car, but we now have meth on the car, and you can see it made 601 and 620 torque, which is insane with basically just adding a meth kit to the car.
So this is a Snow Performance meth kit. It's also Titan bracket, custom kind of kit that we did, and it's also the braided line kit. So it's got the dash 4 braided lines. It's a dual jet setup, and we decided to go with about a 70-30, 80-20 mix for the meth, just because this car definitely likes to have a little bit more of the meth versus a straight up 50-50 mix. But overall, once we did that, the car really made power and was really happy. And this is still a conservative tune because this is going to be a daily driven street car. So we probably could have pushed it a little bit more, but we kept it on the safe side. Again, this is custom MHD tuned for those of you interested in being able to make that kind of power if you run MHD on the car. We've been working with the Pure Boost guys in Germany, and a lot of the issues that we ran into with torque limitations have been overcome. A lot of street testing, a lot of dyno testing.
Is this pump gas?
This is 93 octane plus the meth injection, yeah. So you can still use 93. So all of these are 93 octane tunes, and the final one is by adding meth injection. You can see how much more power there is to have, and that again is with the Pure800 turbo.
If someone has a stock Supra and they want 600 horsepower, can they just bring their car here and you can just handle all that for them?
Of course.